We are back. I'll boost up the audio just a little bit more.
Boost the audio because
I'll boost the audio a little bit more, and we're back and rolling. And let's start with the petition. Go ahead and start it. Let's make sure you get it out there.
All right.
Okay, hold on. There you go.
Yeah,
you go for it.
I'll write down here.
We're good. We got you.
Are we live?
Dead center.
All right. So, as you've probably seen in the comments, Lakota People's Law Project has a petition on our website. If you go to lakotalaw.org and you fill it out, what it does is it allows you to write a personalize a letter to President Obama asking that he prevent the evacuation of water protectors as ordered by Governor Jack Dalrymple, deny the easement of the pipeline, and tell the Army Corps of Engineers to stand down. And with the wonderful advising of our constitutional lawyer, Daniel Sheehan, Obama has the constitutional authority to do all three of those things. Once you fill out that on lakotalaw.org, it also allows you to tweet directly at the president through your own personal Twitter handle. So as a favor to me, to help us stop this pipeline, please go to lakotalaw.org and tell President Obama to stop this pipeline. Thanks so much.
Okay, there we go. So what else we talking about?
Well, I'm assuming that the folks that are watching right now in the live streaming have been with us for the last few minutes until we lost power here temporarily, and we were just basically tying off the fact that the nature of the assertion that is being made by the United States Army Corps of Engineers as to their authority to authorize the pipeline to come through here, their authority to order people off of this property, and their authority to give permission to the state law enforcement officials to come onto the property to remove people from this property. All of that is predicated upon an absolutely unlawful act that was undertaken back in 1954 to unilaterally assert that they had the power of eminent domain to seize this land and to take it, when in fact the U.S. government had promised by treaty back in 1851 and again in 1868 that they would never do any such thing. And it was on the sole basis of that promise that the Lakota people didn't kick the crap out of them. You know, I mean, that was what the Lakota people were doing, is the Lakota people, primarily the Umpapa in the Ogallala, were kicking the butt of all of the 7th Cavalry. And so it was the United States government that came in and pleaded for a peace treaty and made it absolutely clear that under no circumstances other than 3/4 of all the adult males in the entire Oceti-Sakowin, that is the entire 7 council fires, would they alter any of the conditions of the land. And here they are, thinking that they can just assert it by passing an act of eminent domain and take a whole gigantic section of the land and then give it over to a pipeline to pump 470,000 barrels of oil a day through their Holy Land and over their water, their aquifer, and across underneath the Missouri River. And as we pointed out earlier, this is all Sunoco. Sunoco and Phillips, an oil company. They're talking about being the Dakota Access Pipelines, so nobody can understand who they are. This is Sunoco and Phillips, and they're being funded, by the way, in part by Wells Fargo. You guys ought to, everybody who's looking here right now, instead of sitting and watching the bowl games coming up, you ought to go out and picket Wells Fargo and find a Sunoco station and a Phillips 66 station and go and surround them, and tell everybody to stay away from them. Because that's how you're going to get these people to stop doing this. Our people here are physically blocking the pipeline. As you can see, they're going to try to come right straight through here and over and under the river over there. And so our people are putting their body in the way, but they need your help.
And on this bank thing, we also have a resolution you can find online at lakotalaw.org. You can sign it and take it to your bank. And essentially, all it says is that, we want you to pull out of the Dakota Access Pipeline Project. The language is all very specific. I won't go through right now, but you can find that at lakotalaw.org.
But if they don't, you will pull your money out of their bank.
Yeah, right. No, that's what it says. Yeah, that's what the resolution says. An update on the arrests. There have been 564 arrests now made since early August. And who was that? So 564 arrests made since early August, and the brave people here are not looking like they're going to back down or give up just because the governor tells them to. It's going to get really cold next week. We're looking at temperatures under 6 degrees, but there are no plans to leave, and these people are survivors, and they're going to fight it till it.
Danny, can you tell us about yesterday and then kind of do a wrap up and we'll call this? We've been going pretty well.
What happened yesterday is that Colonel Henderson, who is the commander of this project for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, called a meeting in which they had some hand-picked people, only 2 of which were even from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, only 1 of which was even on the tribal council government. And they brought in 20 major officials of the pipeline, the Dakota Access Pipeline LLC, and the Energy Transfer Partners, and all of them. And all they did is talk with Colonel Henderson, telling him how safe the pipeline was going to be, even though they've had 200 spills,
more than 200,
more than 200 spills since just this company,
right?
and so that this is ridiculous, and that these other people, the people that were invited to come there, just sat there, and then when they ask a simple question, they said, "Look, can you tell us, in order to try to make some kind of evaluation, even though they weren't official representatives of the tribe." They said, well, can you tell us exactly where you're planning to put the pipeline so we can make some kind of evaluation of what kind of desecration of our sacred sites is going to be? And they said, we can't tell you that because it's proprietary information. It's proprietary information. Like what? We're going to, run another pipeline to compete with them or something? It's totally ridiculous. These people are transparently ridiculous. And that's what makes it hard to deal with them. And now there's a president-elect who's transparently ridiculous, who has had a $500,000 investment in this thing, and he's getting ready to order them to go ahead. So if people want to figure out a way to stand up against Trump and his giving over the instrumentalities of government to the benefit of private corporations, which I can assure you is the paradigmatic definition of fascism. That's what fascism is giving over the instrumentalities of the government over to the benefit of privately owned corporations. Mussolini wrote 3 major essays on this back in 1936. If anybody wants to know what fascism looks like, that's what this is. There you see it. Okay, and you're going to see it demonstrated again on the 5th when they start to array all these people. See, they got these little planes flying over. You want to see this little plane? Here, take a look at that little plane. See it right there? There they go. And they're yeah, I'm not very steady about that.
It's not.
But the bottom line is, they're flying surveillance over us. Like, is it what I think we're going to attack them or something? They have helicopters, they have battle wagons. And all of this, and they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars of tax money, all to benefit a private corporation, just to benefit a private corporation, and they're trying to pretend that this is all being done to benefit the American people.
Someone just asked,
ridiculous.
how can you stop them? How can you physically stop them from drilling?
Well, the way you
sign our petition.
Let me count the ways that these people can be stopped. It's a lot. I refer all of you to a 3-volume work that was done by Harvard University called On Nonviolent Struggle by Gene Sharp. And he lays out there all of the different ways that you can actually disempower an occupying force. And that they've done research over 100 years of every single incident where a foreign power comes in to occupy a people and how hard it is for them to maintain that type of an occupation. The United States government discovered it in South Vietnam. The British discovered it in India. The French discovered it in Angola, and the Trump administration is getting ready to discover it here. There's all kinds of different, completely nonviolent ways that efforts can be. It's a lot harder for them to maintain a pipeline like this. And before they drill through here, there's ways to stop them. They've got tons of equipment up there that is very, very vulnerable. They've got all kinds of needs for electric power. They've got needs for getting in and out of roads and stuff like that. That this is you just need to try to determine how far they're willing to go to benefit private stockholders, and not the American people. How many millions of dollars of tax money they're going to pay to try to do this thing. But the fact is, there's thousands and thousands of people who can put their body on top of this thing, and they don't have enough jails to jail everybody. They don't have enough public defenders to represent them. They don't have enough judicial officials to give them arraignments, and I can tell you there's lawyers all across the country that are going to come in here and insist that anybody that they try to arrest is to be given the full, complete due process of law, and they don't have the administrative facilities to do this. The United States government discovered this during the Vietnam War again, when they kept trying to draft members of my generation, draft them under the threat of putting them in prison for 20 years if we didn't agree to go 8,000 miles away and start shooting hot lead into the bodies of people whose families had lived there for thousands of years. We've already been through this, So if they try to arrest our people, let them build the jails for us. Let them build the prisons for us. Let them assign the public defenders for these people. They don't have the facilities to do this. Our people can overwhelm their resources.
Isn't
happening here?
Isn't another way to stop it though? One thing that specifically we've been trying to do is that there's been an implicit granting of the permit, but there's actually it hasn't been issued.
Oh right. There's a whole bunch of legal technical ways, of stopping them. I mean that's part of my job and the other lawyers is to figure out how to blockade them. But you got to understand, most of these statutes and laws have been written by white men. They're written by white men who are at the beck and call of these corporations. They pay for their campaigns, they pay for their elections, they bribe them, they take them on jaunts to, the Pacific Islands and stuff, and then they get them to vote for them and draft the laws in their favor. I will do everything in my power, and a lot of the other lawyers will too, to enforce whatever laws we can and fundamental constitutional protections for people. But the bottom line is the people ourselves, led by the Lakota people, the people of the Oceti-Sakowin, who have to come here and put your body on the line, to block this pipeline, because these other guys are going to manipulate it. Stop and think, when Trump gets in, Trump is going to appoint 89 new federal judges. 89 new federal judges that the right-wing Republicans have blocked from being seated because they would not vote for them, because they were nominated by President Obama. He's going to get to appoint 89 of these new federal judges, including the United States Supreme Court judge that's going to have the swing vote in the Supreme Court. So, as I said, I will do everything in my power, as other lawyers will, to exhaust all of the administrative remedies that are presently available for us under the law. But the bottom line is that the people ourselves have to speak under the leadership of the people of the Oceti-Sakowin, the 7 council fires, to come and put your body in the front of this pipeline. And I can guarantee you they aren't going to put this pipeline through if we mobilize.
And so the date on Monday has to do with the issuing of the permit, correct?
No. What happened was back on the 14th or so of November, the United States Justice Department under Obama issued an order to the United States Army Corps of Engineers prohibiting them from issuing a certificate of easement to the Dakota Access Pipeline, LLC, because of the lack of adequate consultation with the tribe. Okay? And so what they're trying to do now, see, here's their little helicopter going, see? They've also got helicopters out here chasing us around. So what they're doing is they're trying to figure out a way to quote consult with the tribe. And I mean, it's so silly. These people, all these white people, are so crazy. I mean, they don't even know what they're talking about when they're referring to the tribe. They're in their mind, the white guys, all they think they're doing is talking about the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, which is a tiny reservation, which was a prison camp on which the United States military, imprisoned a portion of the native people out here. And what they've done is turn around and said, okay, that this is the tribe that we have to get consent from. And they're not even saying they have to get consent from them. All they have to do is consult with them, whatever that means. What it means is that they'll try to have some kind of ruse and say, here, we told you what we're going to do, and what do you think about it? And then whatever they think about it, they don't care. And then they go right ahead and do it. Okay, so but the Oceti-Sakowin, the people themselves, make up 7 council fires all through this entire territory. Not only from the Missouri River westward to the Teton Mountains. That's
the Heart River north.
That's just the Teton. The Teton are only one of the 7 council fires of the Oceti-Sakowin. there are 6 other council fires. These the Teton are the Lakota speakers. There are Nakota and Dakota speakers that are on the eastern side of the Missouri River, who also are perfectly entitled to be protected. And yet they're not talking about talking to them. They're talking about talking to what they call the Standing Rock Sioux tribe.
And downstream is Yankton.
Yankton. They're all downstream from here. And so is the Cheyenne River. But the bottom line is, just to show how silly this is, the U.S. government refers to them as the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. There's no such thing as the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. The Cheyenne, there's the Ochetisacoan. There are the 7 council fires, one of which is the Teton. Each of the 7 council fires has 7 bands. Each of the 7 bands has 7 clans. Each of the 7 clans have 7 Teoshpai. And each of the Teoshpai have 7 Oshpai, which are large extended families. Each of them have select a headman, and that's how they, in fact, govern themselves. So the United States comes in and breaks them all up and to put them into disarray, to break up all of the Teoshpais and the clans and bands, spread them out across these 9 reservations. And the fact of the matter is, if of the 3,000 counties in the entire United States, if you take the 11 poorest counties in the entire United States, 7 of them are on the reservations here in South Dakota and North Dakota. That's how well they're taking care of the people in alleged exchange for them having seized all of their land. This is preposterous. That what you need to do is you need to mobilize all of your friends. You need to go on the website of among others, the LakotaLaw.org, sign the petition and send it to the President of the United States. Call up the switchboard in the White House, 202-456-1414. Go
say that again.
It's 202-456-1414. Go to the phone right now. Call them up. Tell Obama to stop this pipeline. Stop this pipeline. That he thinks that more people are interested in going to the Michigan State football game than are interested in the whole country in stopping this. So you need to show them that isn't true. Tell them all the helicopters they want to put out here, all the police they want to array, they can't stop the people on this if you will rise up. That is what has to be done right now.
All right. We might do another update later, but why don't you sign off there, Kelsey?
All right. Thanks so much for watching. We're Lakota People's Law Project. Please, please, please go sign our petition at LakotaLaw.org. It's on the homepage, and you can fill it out. And like Danny said, put a call in to President Obama. Write a letter to the White House. Sign our petition. Get your voice heard. If you can't physically be here, you can still take action. We need to stop this pipeline. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kelsey. Artie's over here. Danny's over here. Chuck's behind the camera.
What's that White House number again? I like that.
202-456-1414. Call right now.
All right, bye, everybody.
Can you guys, do you have knowledge of what happens with the contracts on December 31st in relation to the pipeline?
Well, it's an interesting question. What this Dakota Access LLC and the Energy Transfer Partners have contracts that they have signed with a dozen other oil companies who have contracted to get part of the oil through here, and they're supposed to be pumping oil through the pipeline by January 1st. And if they're not, then each of those other companies has the right under contract law to withdraw from the contract because they're not getting the services that they've contracted for. So that's the status of the thing. That's one of the reasons why they're so frantic right now, is they want to try to get this pipeline drilled so they can at least come back to those contractees and say, look, we're underway. We've removed the blockage. We're now tunneling under the river. That you can expect that this is going to happen. Because right now, all of those fellow investors, they don't have any reasonable expectation that this is going to happen.
Is there pressure on them? Are those companies investors known? Is there pressure put on them?
Some people are doing that. There needs to be more. There needs to be more work done to find out. They refuse to tell us who some of the contractors are because they say it's proprietary information. Like we're invading their privacy because they're like a person. Under the Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision, they're like a person, and they have this right of privacy. I mean, these corporations are created by the state. I mean, they're a completely artificial entity. They don't have constitutional rights at all. You know,
What was the role of the Norwegian bank involved in this?
it was one of the investor banks, like Wells Fargo, and they decided that they were going to withdraw from their investment in this project. You know, we're hoping that the other banks, with pressure put on them, are going to withdraw as well. We're directing a lot of specific attention to Wells Fargo because they're the biggest bank, and plus they've been under pressure because of all this criminal activity they've been engaged in, you know, manufacturing these false accounts, and so they're very vulnerable. And so if people and more people have access to a Wells Fargo bank than any other one, to go out and demonstrate against them. You know, that's what. And then the Sunoco station. Go find the Sunoco stations and the Phillips 66 stations. You know, and go picket these people.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'm going to shut. Well, you can keep going. I'm going to shut down. No, if you're going to ask a good question, I'm going to keep rolling.
Well, you were just talking about that you as a lawyer and what the law team will be able to do whatever it is that you can. What are you able to do under the law?
Oh, there's lots of things that can be done. For example, the emphasis on the need to meet the Environmental Protection Act. You know, this gimmick that they pulled of dividing the pipeline into little tiny, 100-foot segments, and then asking for a limited permit, just like as if you were putting a pipeline from your house to your boathouse, and they're not offering any kind of environmental protection report for the overall pipeline at all. It's totally transparent. It's just total manipulation. And so that the pressure that can be put on the Environmental Protection Agency to fulfill the law, to potentially bring in a writ of mandamus, to ask the federal district court to issue a writ of mandate ordering the Environmental Protection Agency to do its job.
Right. Isn't it true though that the Environmental Protection Agency can't do a whole lot themselves? They can only recommend for something.
Well, no, they can issue an order that they're in violation, and then they could go to a federal court and seek an injunction stopping them from violating the law. They could also report them to the Justice Department. The Justice Department has an entire Environmental Protection Division. They could come in and file lawsuits against them and stop them. There's lots of things that can be done. But right now, for example, the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and the Yankton Sioux Tribe have drafted up a motion for a temporary restraining order, asking the federal court to issue a temporary restraining order to stop them from drilling if, in fact, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers issues the certificate of easement. And then that'll make it ripe for a temporary restraining order.
Do you think that the growing lawsuits, there's also a civil lawsuit about last Sunday night, do all these help at all? Because they sound exciting from here, and that we're gonna stick it to them.
It depends. I mean, the fact of the matter is the American people have a growingly low regard for the bona fides of the federal judicial system, and it's going to get worse with the appointment of these 89 judges by Trump. You're going to see what the nature of those people are. It's just like Sessions, trying to make Sessions the Attorney General of the United States. He couldn't even clear Congress 20 years ago to be made a local judge. So I mean, the degree of respect that the people have for the court system is predicated upon their view of their legitimacy, and these people are becoming less and less legitimate. Most of these appointees are from the Federalist Society. The Federalist Society is a total organization. They're total reactionaries. They're right-wing, racist reactionaries. And so the people are going to lose more and more confidence in the court system. When I thought that Hillary Clinton was going to be elected, not that she's perhaps the best candidate that anybody could have seen. A lot of people voted for Bernie and others. But the fact of the matter is that we at least thought we should be recommending to our students that they go to law school, that there was a good chance, that with the new appointment of 89 new judges and things, that there was going to be a good chance to be able to effectuate some social justice through the court system. I'm not recommending to my students in constitutional law classes that they go into law school right now. I'd recommend for them to get their butt here, and get their butt here and get up on the hill and throw their body down in front of this pipeline, and then learn what the court system looks like from the bottom up, and then go to law school afterwards. So when Trump's out of here in 4 years or shorter, depending upon how quickly it takes to get someone in there to impeach him, that we're not going to make it for the first 2 years. The next election in 2018 is going to be the first opportunity people have to replace their people in the House of Representatives. But the fact of them, which is the House of Representatives, are the ones that have the power to impeach him. The Judiciary Committee. But the fact of the matter is, the two parties together have gerrymandered the congressional districts in such a way that it's almost impossible to dislodge those people that are in there now. There's like a whole ruling class, an aristocracy that's in there now. So the people have to take to the streets, and just like you're taking to the hills, take to the hills and take to the streets. Here are the hills. The streets are right outside your house. Okay, great. I'm Danny Sheehan. I'm the Chief Counsel for the Lakota People's Law Office.
KC Radio. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna.
Thank you.
We're gonna stop this one. We will back at you later.
So we're doing a long